everyone! Thanks for joining us for one more kid-free weekend. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
I thought we should do one sort of... We got some stuff to talk about. We just saw a kick-ass movie. Well,
Kick-ass is right.
I think it was a kick-ass movie, but I do want to hear your take. But before that, I thought we should just do one little wrap-up. It's 2 weeks now. It seems like forever, actually. It's been 2 weeks since San Diego Comic-Con, and I thought we should just do a little wrap-up of our overall experiences. We haven't done a lot of podcasting about it.
Right.
And we'll talk about that.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
We went there to do podcasting, and we didn't. But there's a darn good reason. So if anyone from Comic-Con's listening to this, we have a good reason. But yeah, let's just go through it real quick. It was sort of 5 days, right? And we can just talk about the cool things we saw.
Sure.
Talk about what it was like for anyone that hasn't been to Comic-Con but is thinking of going. Maybe some of the stuff they can expect.
Right. We got some tips for you.
Yeah, of course.
Tips and tricks for surviving Comic-Con.
We only saw a very small portion of Comic-Con. Comic-Con is huge.
Right.
And we focus sort of on the biggest stuff, which next year, I'm really torn about what we should do. Maybe we should talk about that here too.
Well,
but let's start.
Options.
So we got down to Comic-Con on Wednesday
night.
So it's a Thursday through Sunday con, but Wednesday, if you are a 4-day pass holder, is preview night.
Traffic was awful. But it was a lovely drive because we were together.
Yeah. Oh. Now, if anyone's done throwing up, we'll continue. So we get down there Wednesday. We then went over to the convention hall. Okay. And it was a little crowded. Yeah, I just had a vision of sort of what it looks like out there when you first walk up. And on Wednesday, there wasn't really any cosplay going on. It was just people standing in line. Mm-hmm. It kind of looks like going to the airport.
Yes, it does.
If there's really long lines that would sort of snake around and go outside of the airport, which happens sometimes, it kind of looks like that. Mm-hmm. It looks like a smaller airport with just people waiting in a line to get in. Now, in this case, there were not snaking lines inside. It was wide open inside. You just had to stand in the line to get the stuff, to swipe your badge. And so we already had our badges. Yay. And they have these RFID tags in them.
Right.
Which I think is new. It's either maybe new last year or possibly new this year, but you have to tap your badge on a little sensor thing every time you go in or out of the convention. But we still had to go there even though we already had our badges because you want swag.
You have to go pick up your swag bag.
We got a swag bag. And the swag bag also governed by RFID tags, so they know that you've been there.
Right, you can't get another.
Right. So we went in and they give you a bag that's folded over so you can't see what all is inside. Mm-hmm. And it's very secret, hush hush. But then you get to go, actually, we got shit for going off on the other side of the line and trying to recombobulate ourselves, but we were doing it in a sort of a no-no area.
Right.
But it's inside the convention hall, so at least you're in the AC. We found a place to just settle. We had some stuff with us. We had, I had my backpack, which I carried around all those days, and it got kind of heavy. Yeah. Full of computers and equipment and things. But the bags are these branded bags that people start trading. There's so much trading value here at Comic-Con. So there's bags. We got, I think, did we both get Justice League bags?
Let's talk about what bags there are. Yeah. We both got Justice League bags, right?
Right.
Because we came at the same time. So it depends on what time you go in and when they run out of that batch of bags, basically.
I guess so, yeah. But it's a big thing. And we saw not only people trading bags, people doing it in person, people talking online about bag trades and making arrangements to meet each other places. But then we also saw some people, not on the first day, but they were wearing dresses made out of the bags.
They were great and so hot. I imagine so hot.
Yeah, these bags don't seem like they'd make good clothing.
No.
They're thick, I don't know.
But I want to figure out something else to do with it. I don't know what. I could use it for a grocery bag, but I'll ruin it eventually.
Well, they have straps on them, so you can kind of wear it like a backpack. But I had some unfortunate luck with mine. My straps
they don't hold that
ripped
much.
Off. Yeah, there's definitely.
They could be a beach bag, but then again, it'll get ruined. I need to do something creative and artistic with it.
Well, I welcome that.
I just
Maybe
don't know
they'd
what.
make a good umbrella.
Maybe somebody has some. No, it'll get ruined.
Well, no, I think they're waterproof. All right, so we did all that. We got our stuff. Oh, and they have collectible pins, also a big trading market. They were superhero pins.
We got Superman.
And
Superman.
I guess maybe next year we should
Go at different times?
Yeah,
different days, maybe?
Yeah. No, not different days, but different times. Because I wound up going back to ask if I could get a different bag after the handles both ripped on mine.
Right.
They were willing to give me one, but they did want to make sure that my pin was in place because I wasn't supposed to get a shot at a different pin, which is I'm sure people would totally do that on purpose. But different times.
I wonder, did you see any of the other pins?
Well, they were all super. So it was like I think it was Superman, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow.
Oh, I wish I had gotten Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I think she was the rarest one. I think everybody wanted Wonder Woman, but no one seemed to know where she was.
Wonder Woman!
And then the only other thing on Wednesday was that we got to go into the exhibit hall. So again, preview night, if you're a 4-day pass holder, you can go into the exhibit hall before the convention officially begins.
Right, and people are still even setting up.
Well, the exhibitors have until 6 o'clock to get their shit ready. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But once 6 o'clock happens, there's a flurry of activity.
Right.
And we were able to get in through a back door, sort of, with we went in with friends who were professionals, but it was still at the same time.
And we had our press passes.
And we had press passes, right? So they let us hang out with the professionals for a bit. And the exhibit hall turns into a madhouse pretty quickly.
But not like any of the other days.
Well, it wasn't as crowded, sure, but we also were not at the core. I don't even think we ever went near like the Funko booth.
Right.
We didn't try to get into the Hasbro booth. We walked by the Lego booth at one point on, I think, Sunday, and it was still a tremendous line to buy Legos. And you had to like pre-plan everything. I think
it's just kind of crazy the amount of time you have to spend planning and waiting in line.
It depends on what you're there for. So like,
well, just to get a Lego.
just to get it. Well, it's just so hot. I mean, not hot, not physically hot, but like these products are hot because all the companies now, so this isn't like Comic-Con's fault or anything, but the companies make these Comic-Con exclusives.
Right. I would have loved to have a Comic-Con exclusive Lego figure.
We saw lots of Comic-Con exclusives at the Factory Entertainment booth, and they did have a nice line going.
Yes, they did.
But it wasn't like Funko. And I don't know if that's because the Factory Entertainment stuff is nicer and more expensive, or if it's just that people go absolutely ape fucking shit over Funkos.
They do.
I don't know what the deal is.
They're cute.
Yeah, but that's not why people are buying them. They're buying them to sell them.
I know, but they're still cute. That's why people are buying them.
I just never know how to feel about that. I feel torn. It's like I understand Funko's need, or any of these other companies, I understand their need to drive excitement for their product. And one way to do that is to have certain things be rare one way or another. But
well,
the market gets so weird because people buy their way into Comic-Con, buy tickets, and go through all the trouble that you have to do to get there and to just to buy these tremendous amounts of Funko dolls and then go home and put them on eBay. And they make a profit, a solid profit, as I understand it. Some people do this as a living. They just go from convention to convention, so I hear, just buying tons of stuff. And we saw people carrying the biggest bags I've ever seen in my life as bags, you know,
right.
And just full of Funko stuff. So Funko's ready. Like, they have these bags. They were Funko bags, the size of a small bedroom.
You know, it's disgusting. The amount of merchandise that we do here or anywhere, I guess, in the world, it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
It's maybe, look, buying toys, is that ever a good use of money?
No. Well,
I mean, kids love toys. Kids love to play and yada yada, but I didn't have that many toys when I was a kid. And
no, I didn't have really any toys.
But then I spoiled my kids because I didn't have that many toys when I was a kid, and I always wished I had more toys. So, fuck me.
I don't know.
But adults buying toys, maybe an even bigger waste of time. But if it's something you love, like I have a couple Funkos, right? You bought me one that was, which one did you buy me? Maybe you bought me both of those.
I think, I don't know.
We have a Mal from Firefly, Captain
Right,
Malcolm
I did
Reynolds.
buy you both of those.
And also a Silent Bob.
Right.
I love them. They're so cute, but I did take them out of their package. I'm not trying to do that thing.
Yeah, well, and we have a couple others out that remain in their package only for safekeeping, but not because they're not being played with. They come out of their package. They just go back in for like sleep. That's where the kids put them to sleep.
The kids all have a few, two or three. So we've given Funko money. They deserve it. Their products are adorable. But it's like it's the new Beanie Baby, really.
Or the Monster High doll, or
the Monster
Barbie,
High dolls were
or
never as valuable as these, though.
Ugh.
This is a craze.
Don't you remember Toralei? She was like $200. True.
There was one Monster High doll, but we managed to get your daughter one without arms or something. From a friend of hers.
I don't know.
I think. But these Funko dolls are crazy. So, I mean, we had friends that went to go see the Conan show on Thursday, I think it was. And Conan O'Brien, for that show, they were giving out Conan Funkos to everybody in the audience. And I think those are going for 100 to 150.
That's crazy.
Online. Yeah, I mean, let's try to get into the Conan show next year, huh?
Well, it won't be Funko again, I'm sure.
I think they do every year.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. An exclusive Conan Funko. So yeah, but Wednesday night we did manage to meet up with some guys from Factory Entertainment. Super cool guys. We talked Game of Thrones. That's over on our Pod of Thrones RSS feed, the podcast feed, and we
SDCC
also have
2017.
and we also have an SDCC 2017 blog over at podofthrones.com.
Oh, yes.
So we met with those guys. They were super cool, and I recommend listening to that if you love Game of Thrones and haven't already listened to our interview with them. We also met a cool artist that we probably just before posting this, I probably posted that one up. Really neat guy. Christopher Clark. And then we just kind of moseyed around a little bit and took it easy. We saw some of the exhibit hall.
We
took
made
some
ourselves
pictures.
we mapped out the place. We're kind of like, okay,
yeah,
this is where stuff is.
This was our first time there, which was maybe a little weird being press and also going for our first time. It would have been very easy to get overwhelmed, and I am glad that we had people to guide us through some of this.
Ooh, can you imagine if we did all of that without any help?
Well, we would not have gotten into Hall H. I'm sure. That just would not have happened.
No. No.
And in fact, that
Thank you to all of you who helped.
Yes.
The Hall H line.
The Hall H super group.
Is that what they're called? No, they're the geeks.
Cool,
Cool geeks of Hall H line.
I don't know that they want super publicity anyway. And,
no, they don't.
Having everybody else be like, I want to be a cool geek.
Right. Do you want to talk about tips and tricks?
Well, tips and tricks, I don't have any tips and tricks for preview night for starters, except that, as I understand it, if you want like exclusive Funkos anytime at the convention, you have to pre-order them and then go get them at the booth. You can't just, if you're a first timer at Comic-Con, you're not getting the big name exclusives. You can probably get some exclusive stuff.
So what are the most popular ones that are selling?
Well, the most popular Funkos?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have the energy to look at eBay Funko listings and figure out. Don't bother, babe.
I'm just curious. I want to know what the most popular Funko Pop is.
So after Wednesday night, and we went home early, we wanted to get some sleep because we knew there were going to be a couple days when we didn't get much.
Right.
And that was true. So we got some extra sleep. We took it easy Thursday morning, and Thursday morning was all about doing a little bit of press stuff. That was how we planned our Comic-Con, around doing some press stuff. So we had this panel that we were going to for Monsters, Mysteries, and Mayhem, I think it was called. And I had some guys that were behind the scenes on some things we love, most notably Game of Thrones. Some guys on the panel that had done some behind the scenes Game of Thrones work. But you lost your badge.
Right. Well, I didn't lose it. I just left it in the car.
Well, okay. Yes.
So okay. So that morning, I don't know. We're not great at...
You left it in the car. It's
left
okay.
it in the car, okay.
It's okay. Not the end of the world.
And then I had to teach some people how to make a chai tea latte.
Well, that was before we knew you lost your badge.
I know.
But still.
Right, so...
A weird use of our morning.
We were supposed to go to breakfast. We didn't have time for that because
we enjoyed some sleep.
We enjoyed sleeping.
Okay. It's good to sleep.
And we got all the way to the hall, and I'm like, I don't have my badge.
And I didn't know what to do. Now, what I should have done and what I regret not doing was just like give you my badge, but you're not supposed to do that. I don't know if it would have worked out or not.
I would not. I don't know.
Because I would have rather had you go in and get comfortable and not, because your neck, I mean, you got all the neck pain and stuff. I didn't want you having to walk all the way back to the car, which wasn't super far. But I didn't think about that as an option at the time.
It's all right, because you had a plan.
Well,
and I don't know what that plan was. So your plan would have been foiled for sure.
After trying to find your badge before you went back to the car, I made it to the panel room just in time, and I recorded it, the entire panel. I was pretty psyched about it because there were some cool people talking about sort of where they came from, like how they came up in the industry.
Yes, we heard a lot of that.
Some of the neat stuff they worked on. And that would have been great to broadcast, but I can't. And we'll come to that soon. But you made it back just at the very end of that panel, and then we were invited to a press room at the Hilton Hotel across the way. Mm-hmm. Everything's coming up, kid-free weekend. Woo-hoo! We get over there, no problems. It's kind of neat. It feels cool because it's not like paparazzi kind of shit. There's not like big, bulky security guards at the door or anything, but there were some security that we had to be like, okay, see, we got a press thing and we got a press room over in that room over there. And
right, we had to know what we were talking about.
Right.
And
it was neat.
We couldn't be just like, hey.
If we had just wandered by there, they would have told us to go away.
Right.
So that felt cool. And we got some time with a couple guys that...
I made it back, by the way.
Well, yeah. No, you did. Yeah, I said you made it back just at the very end of the
right.
of the panel there.
Yes,
yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. So we talked to a couple guys that had at various times worked on Game of Thrones, not by any means the full breadth of their working history. They'd done plenty of other cool things too. And
composers.
Well, that was the next guy. We didn't get a lot of time with the first two. They had to move on, and they paired them together, which I don't know if that was my fault or what. But it seemed kind of, we wound up kind of having to rush, which was a bummer because I started asking like, well, what did you do in a long time ago and this and this? And then next thing you know, it's over and we never really got to talk about
Game of Thrones. And we had to share our interview with another radio personality.
Well, there was a guy and a pretty nice guy. I liked him.
Yeah.
I think he was Matty P.
Mm-hmm. And we, so we couldn't get as many questions as we had hoped.
Well, so the next guy that came over was...
It's here. I have Saturday Morning Live. Matty P. He has our interview on his show somewhere.
Yeah, one of them. And you know what? I'm going to find that and post a link to it.
blogtalkradio.com, Matty P. Radio Show.
What's the Twitter address, though? It's there. I promise.
Stay Classy OC?
at Matty P Radio Show and at Stay Classy SDCC.
Oh, SDCC.
But yeah, I think at Matty P Radio Show, we'll find that because we did have a sit down with this guy named Michael Levine, who was so cool. He's a composer, hasn't done anything with Game of Thrones, but he was awesome on the panel, which I recorded. So we got to talk to him for a while about some of the neat stuff he's done, which ranges from orchestral scores and awesome movies to the Give Me a Break Kit Kat jingle.
Give me a break, give me a break, break me up a piece that Kit Kat bar.
And he talked about how he had, he came up under Hans Zimmer, who's one of the most famous composers out there right now for movie scores.
He did Lord of the Rings?
No, but he did the Batman movies.
Batman.
He's done a ton of shit, but not Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. So that was a lot of fun. And then we left the press room. We had a little meeting, sort of press related. We were going to go talk to some folks, and we did. We met at a Starbucks right outside the Hilton, and then began the Hall H line sitting. Now, before we talk about the Hall H line, it was about a half an hour later, after we got to the Hall H line, that I
fateful
realized.
moment.
At that point, I realized all of our recording shit was gone.
Gone.
Now, the night before, I had taken the recordings that we made in the exhibit hall, just the two of them. I had taken those off of the recorder and put them on the PC. I had a goal of like, I'll just try to edit these together real quick tonight and we'll record like a quick intro, but you were asleep and I decided to get some sleep too. We were just going to save it for now. But then all of our fucking recording equipment was gone and I was...
oh man. And with it, our recordings.
Right. Well, the recording of the panel, the recording of the press room, all that stuff.
And any...
gone.
Really, there was no way for us to record anything for the rest of the trip. And this was Thursday, the first day.
Right.
The
it was
first
the
day.
first goddamn day at Comic-Con. So...
Why couldn't you just turn it in person?
Well, we don't know how it disappeared. I'm pretty sure...
somebody has it.
Well, no, I know someone has it. But there's one of two ways it could go. We know we didn't leave it in the press room because that did have professional people in it, unless someone else from the press walked off with our stuff, which seems unlikely.
Possible.
I suppose it's possible. Then down at the Starbucks, maybe I left it there and didn't pick it up on our way. But I had it right there with my backpack, so I don't know how I would have grabbed my backpack and not the other bag. Maybe it disappeared while we were sitting at Starbucks. Maybe that nice old lady you were talking to was actually like a con artist and she took our shit.
Maybe.
Distracted by her cute dog.
Yeah.
Or maybe in the Hall H line, because I put my stuff down at sort of the...
Right, and there's another line formed behind our camp out.
There was another line that was actually moving next to the Hall H line. Someone could have just snatched it right from there because I did put my backpack right next to that area as well. So... if someone found it because I left it behind by accident, then they're dicks for not turning it in.
Right.
But someone could have just snatched it. In which case, they're even bigger dicks.
And you're a dick too.
Well, maybe not as... dicks either way.
You're a dick.
It's a bunch of dicks.
You're a dick. It's a bag of dicks.
So I spent a lot of Thursday and some time Friday, Saturday, and Sunday walking back and forth between Lost and Founds at the Hilton and Lost and Found at the... Convention Center, which are as far apart as they could possibly be.
Talking to the police.
I did talk to the police once or twice, just to see if they had found anything, because I thought maybe I left a bag sitting around. Someone could have been like, maybe it's a bomb.
It's a bomb!
Right. The bag was branded with my employer's name.
Did you check in with them again?
I did.
Yeah. I'm sure they would have called.
So I thought, well, the place I work has a San Diego office. Maybe someone would look up that name.
And drop it off, be nice.
Right. It's possible. But no.
Dicks.
We'll
forgive you if you give it back.
Maybe.
Of course we would.
It's been a while, but...
maybe they just didn't know what to do with it.
So for the rest of Comic-Con, we didn't have any good recording equipment. You did record the Impractical Jokers panel with your phone, which was I
apologize for the quality of that recording.
A clutch move. No, you should not apologize. You should only apologize that it wasn't better because someone's a dick.
Right.
That's the only apology.
Okay.
But the fact that you thought to do it was awesome, and I was so proud.
Aww.
It's the only other audio we have. I did not record anything in Hall H because I decided that maybe the best way to cover it in lieu of recordings would be to live tweet. Right.
That's why we had about a jillion tweets.
Which I didn't do on Friday so much, but I did a lot on Saturday.
Okay,
a lot of tweets on Saturday. So Thursday wrapped up with just being depressed more than anything.
Yeah, it was, but both of us were very stoic about it all.
Stoic? I didn't cry.
Neither of us cried that day. I might have cried that morning. I don't know.
Not Thursday morning.
No.
So Thursday we met up with people. So it's not, I wouldn't say professional, but there are people that have lines sitting down to a science.
Right.
And we were lucky enough to get involved with them again through some friends of mine that I've known since college that just happened to be involved with these people already. So that was cool. Thursday, we spent a lot of time sitting in line, helping tend the line for Friday Hall H. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the day on Thursday, you get a wristband. And the wristband means you are guaranteed admission to Hall H on Friday. But if you want the best seats...
you better be in line, motherfucker, first thing.
Well, someone still has to hold your group's place in line.
Right, because everybody stays.
Right. You're supposed to have a 1-to-5 ratio, one person staying for 5 people. I don't know that that's really how it plays out in the end. I
No, it's more like 1 to
862 people.
yeah.
It seems like it, but even then, it still worked out okay. So there were already volunteers that were ready to spend the night. We didn't have to.
We stayed till 1.
Yes, we did stay very late to try, because other people then could take breaks and, you know.
Yeah, we stayed from like 7 p.m. or something like that night till 1 a.m.
Not counting my many forays.
But I
into
waited
Lost
there.
and Founds. Yeah, you held.
I held the line.
You sure did. So we slept a little bit Thursday night, not much. Friday morning, you were not feeling happy.
No.
I wasn't feeling happy either because our shit was gone, but you
Right.
did not handle the low sleep, which surprised me because you used to be much better at handling low sleep than me. And maybe it's because it was a nerd convention and it wasn't related to things like, you know, your son's diabetes, which, you know, I think will spring you into action, you know, more readily out of a deep sleep.
Yeah.
When it's life or
Well,
death.
okay, so we had been in line so long the night before, I just dreaded having to have another day of waiting in that line. And
Well, we were in Hall H for a good long while, but you have to get there at like 7:30 in the morning, and then at about 8 o'clock, they theoretically seal up the line, so even people with wristbands can't get in. They got to go to
right.
the back of the line.
So we got there at like 7 or something.
About 7:30.
We brought donuts for everybody.
We brought donuts for everybody. We prepared that the night before, and that was okay. But the problem was, you get there at 7:30, they seal the line at 8, but they don't move you. The panel don't start till 10 or 11.
Right, so you stand there for another 2 hours or whatever it is.
Yeah, it was intense, but at least that was covered.
As you're seeing people like coming in the line, and you're like, are they supposed to be here? Are they supposed to be here? And then all this drama starts.
People still work their way in. I mean, the security team does a fine job, but there's too many nerds for that kind of security. People are going to slip by you. It's going to happen. But
All the
again,
nerds look the
for
same.
anyone thinking of going to San Diego Comic-Con, the line waiting is intense. But again, depends on what you want to do. You don't have
Right.
to do Hall H. Hall H is the biggest, most famous part of Comic-Con because all the celebrities go there. It's a huge room.
You get
as
to
we
see
saw.
them live right there.
It was a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
7,000 people fit in that room.
Yeah. Which I guess I just have a hard time conceptualizing because I expected a big room, but maybe I expected like a little tiering, like a theater, like maybe I thought it would go up.
Yeah, it's up.
Or I don't know, but it's a lot of people.
Well, it is a little slanting. The floor does slant a little up because you're walking down as you're going towards the stage.
But the celebrities are on a stage, so even if you're in the back, you can still kind of see people. But there's huge TVs or projection screens hanging down as well. So if you're in the back, you're not really seeing what's happening up front, but you do get to see it. So you're still part of the
You are
experience.
in the same room.
Yeah. But we got to go right up to the front.
We were in the second row.
Yeah, both days. Well, sort of. So that was cool. We watched the Big Bang Theory panel. I went into the press pit for that one, which was the only time I did it because it wasn't super crowded like it would have been later on for Game
Right.
of Thrones. I took a video of the people walking in from the press pit view, so you get to see their legs at like a crazy upward angle. I think I put it on YouTube already. I'll double check.
Okay.
So we saw a Big Bang Theory panel. That was cool.
Yeah, that was very
That
cool.
was fun. Everybody was there except for Sheldon.
Yeah. Sheldon wasn't there.
Wasn't there. But the other big stars were there. That was fun to see. They talked about what was coming up next. We hadn't actually been completely caught up with Big Bang Theory, so there was a little bit of spoiler content, but I say it was worth it. Then 2 different panels for The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, Fear of the Walking Dead, and
Right.
The Walking Dead.
Fear of the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead. We had never seen either show.
No.
Not a single episode.
Nope.
People have told us to, some people have told us to, some people have told us not to. There's very disparate opinions of that show within the nerdy community. But coming out of the panels, we were like, I think we need to watch the show sometime because this was kind of fun. Like, it intrigues you hearing people talk about some of these interactions.
Well, right. And we have all these nerds saying, hey, you got to watch it.
Oh yeah, nerds are going crazy for the people coming out too. We're like, well, I recognize a couple of these guys. That guy played Superman's dad in Batman v Super, or Batman's dad in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I don't get the deal with, what's his name? Logan? No.
Oh, you talking about the guy that everyone loves?
Yeah.
Well, his name is Norman Reedus.
Rusty? No. Rusty.
On the show, he's Daryl.
Daryl. I don't understand the appeal.
I don't know what to say. Maybe he dyed his hair. Maybe it's for something else he's working on. I don't know. But we're going to keep watching The Walking Dead. We did start it now since Comic-Con. We'll keep watching it, and maybe, within another season or two, maybe you'll be totally moist just watching it on screen.
Ew.
What else? And then Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was neat.
Game of Thrones was...
in Hall H, a panel hosted by Christian Yarn.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I was surprised that, I guess maybe not. I was surprised that Ramsay Bolton wasn't there. Because he was at Comic-Con.
He's dead.
Ewan Orion.
They only chose people that are still alive, except for Hodor.
Except for Hodor, who got to host it because he wasn't actually part of the panel. But it was neat. He's a big dude.
He is so big.
Really uncomfortable for him because he had to lean into the microphone every time he wanted to talk.
Yeah, why didn't they bring something out for him?
I don't know.
Stupids.
They're not used to panel hosts that are that big.
He was really, really tall.
So lots of good stuff from there. We have pictures.
Yes, everybody looked
really
great.
Awesome pictures.
Bran was walking.
As he does when he's not on screen. Or even sometimes when
Sansa looked beautiful.
Yes.
Arya was not there. Not there.
Yeah. Maisie Williams was not there, and that made me sad because she is my favorite.
No, but Alfie, Theon, was there, and he brought that cute little Pomeranian-looking dog. I think it might have been a husky
Pomsky.
pom. Yeah, a pusky.
Pusky. That's the most disgusting of dogs. It was a very cute, also kind of weird looking dog.
Yeah, it's very cute.
It was
kind
both
of bug-eyed.
Adorable, like I don't know, something funny with that dog. But there's great pictures on potofthrones.com. Just look for the San Diego Comic-Con blog. So I mean, it was a great time. And again, so if you go to the blog,
and it's nice and cool in there.
Oh yeah, it's nice in Hall H.
But don't leave.
No, you can't. Yeah, you can't leave Hall H. So another thing to expect. People are constantly wanting your seat, especially if you're up front. You are allowed to go to the bathroom. You are allowed to step out for a little bit. They give you maybe up to an hour to go out and come back. But in that time, someone might muscle their way into your seat. So you really shouldn't go away.
Right. Do not leave your seat unattended. Somebody will take it. And then you'll come back and you'll have to fight for it.
Right. And you probably
there
lose
will be a
fight.
brawl. There were no fights.
There were no fights. There were no stabbings. That has happened in Hall H.
Has it?
Guy got stabbed with a pencil.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was over a seat.
I bet it was.
So that was our first Hall H experience. It was pretty cool, and it inspired us to watch at least one, maybe two television shows that we haven't seen before. We did start Walking Dead, but not Fear the Walking Dead, not yet. And then that was sort of the end of Friday for us, because we went back to the line. I did some more passes around through the Lost and Founds, but then we went back to the line, and we waited in line for the Saturday line.
Correct. Now, was this the night when all the drama started?
Line
drama llama?
I don't know. There was a line sitting is intense.
Very intense, and people get tired. People are tired, and there are people that are just wonderful. Like, we met the nicest people.
For the most part, yeah.
We met the nicest people in the line,
and we met some surprising strangers too. You know, you never know what you're going to get.
All of them were strangers before we met them, babe.
Okay. I should say there were people that were part of the organized line sitting, and then there were people that kind of stumbled their way into it.
Oh my gosh, the French girls. There were these two French girls in the line that just kind of we adopted.
I guess so.
They were from France, and they were there alone and
together
for Hall H.
Yeah, and they really wanted to see. I forget which panel it was, but it was a great synergy because, however, I don't know how they got involved with the lines.
They were there alone a lot of the time.
But they slept outside. They slept overnight to help hold the line, so that was awesome.
Right. There was no way that, even though they weren't part of the group, they just kind of glommed on.
But they were welcome.
They were welcome.
Yeah.
They were invited because they were helping.
Yeah. And same thing again on Saturday for the line for the Saturday panel. There's this almost kid. This girl who was also at Comic-Con for the first time.
What was her name?
Well, I don't know if I should say names on
We don't know her last name.
All right, fine. Brenna. Shout out to Brenna.
Brenna, 17.
Yeah. And she was there. She was at Comic-Con with her dad and her brother, but her dad was okay with her sleeping outside overnight. I don't know how I would feel about that with my daughter, but Brenna seemed like she was a pretty sharp kid. I didn't realize she was 17 when she started talking about staying in line overnight, and I was like, "You're a superhero." And I felt bad later, like encouraging a 17-year-old to sleep outside for us, but she was super cool. Yeah.
Met lots of good friends. Mm-hmm. And Dave was a champ.
This guy named Dave slept outside every night, I think.
Every night. And he had a hotel right next to the line.
Right.
And he was a nice hotel.
Well, it was a shared room, so maybe, I don't know, it's a bunch of guys in a hotel room. Maybe it's just better to sleep outside. Who knows? Guys get stinky.
They do. And Dave was nice.
Dave was super nice. Really liked him. So we met cool people in line. But this is one of those things then. So if you're going to be going to Comic-Con for the first time ever, you either need to find some people, get together with a group on the internet and start collaborating in advance. Mm-hmm. Or probably just don't try to do Hall H.
Right. Yeah. Don't bother.
Yeah.
Because you'll waste all of your time and not get in.
Well, you might get in, but you'll be so exhausted and you'll stink.
And you'll just be there. That's all you do. You can't go away because somebody's going to, they won't let you in.
You at least need to have two people so that you guys can take turns on bathroom breaks and stuff. At least minimum.
Now, here's the great thing. You could make money waiting in line.
But you should not.
Oh.
That would be dishonest.
Would it?
I think people do it. We heard tales.
Why is that dishonest? If a homeless person needs money.
Okay, well, here's some things I heard tale of. I heard tales of people that were actually getting paid to sit in line and just sit in line.
Like $200 a day or something.
Something like that, plus like food.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll feed you. So I heard talk that sort of thing was happening, and I'm pretty sure that's against convention rules, but I did, lots of things are against convention rules, people do them anyway. But that just seems like, I don't know, I mean, you could enjoy the con, but you got to have a lot of extra disposable income. I mean, that's like hiring someone, and people used to do this at Disneyland. They would hire someone who was handicapped to pretend to be in their family for a day so that they could get to the front of all the lines. Mm-hmm. And now, because of that, Disneyland has had to change their policy. I don't know what they do now, but it's not as open to like
only
whole,
like
whole
one person can go with you or something. Right. I don't know.
Oh well, we heard about that happening in the handicap lines for Comic-Con as well.
Really?
Some people would sell their companion slot. You could, if you have a disability, you can take one person into the special line and one person into the hall.
How awkward would that be, though? Hanging out with somebody you don't even know all day that had to pay you. You're like a slut. You're a handy whore.
I don't think that word is.
No.
Anyway, but because of all of this, we got our wristbands and we started trying to figure out the plan for the next day. There was a little bit of confusion, is all I'm going to say at this point, about who was doing what and who was where and who was waiting outside, but it all got worked out. We did manage to go home, the hotel, with our wristbands on, but Saturday morning, you did not make it.
I didn't make it.
All of that waiting. And we had to be back in line at 7:38 in the morning.
Because I knew we had to go wait in line some more.
You just didn't want to get out of bed. And that's where our paths split. So I wound up back in line for Hall H, and I wound up spending the entire day in Hall H. Mm-hmm. I think the panels on Saturday started at 11, and they went till 7 o'clock at night.
And how were they compared to the Friday Hall H?
Well, it was definitely a bigger, more epic show. And you walked around a little bit, and saw some sights, enjoyed yourself, and then you went to the Impractical Jokers block party at Petco Park. And that's when you recorded the Impractical Jokers press conference.
We talked about how I made my way there on another one of our, over in the SDCC podcasts, over on Pot of Thrones.
Well, it was on the Kid Free Weekend feed.
Oh, that's right.
Impractical Jokers
press conference. I kind of enjoyed myself, but I was kind of in a haze all day. I just wasn't myself, and I don't know. I was really just not good mentally. And so...
Well, maybe you needed some more sunlight, which you got that day.
I don't know what I needed, but I did get a lot of sun. You seemed like you were in a good mood
by the time I finally saw you.
Oh, yeah. I was just so... I was so happy to have found you. Because
your phone had died.
my phone had died. There was no way for me to contact you.
Yeah, that would.
And I knew you were in there with 7,000 other people, but I had no idea where. Finally, they let me in at like halfway through the day, just before
Well, it was over
I
halfway.
missed Westworld.
Right. It was just before the Marvel panel.
Just before Marvel, right. So I got in there just before Marvel. With great timing, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought, I'm just going to go look around the same area where we sat yesterday. And there you were. Fine. I found Dave first.
And then
I was like, Dave, where's Jeff?
people started yelling at me. They're like, hey, Jeff. I'm like, what is going on? I'm trying to tweet here. And it turns out you're standing at the end of the row. And I was like, oh, yay.
And then we ran towards each other.
Stumbling over
Slow
humanity.
motion.
And then I gave you my seat.
And then you gave me your seat.
'Cause I
It was
love
so
you.
nice. And then they almost kicked you out.
Well, they didn't almost kick me out, but I definitely had a struggle getting a seat. They had some problems with the fire marshal who was saying like,
Well, everybody was saying where we were sitting that Jeff was going to be kicked out because he gave me his seat. That's the whole talk that was going on around us. Jeff's going to be kicked out because he gave Jennifer a seat.
giving a seat is one thing. Again, the other stuff that I heard was like people were selling their seats. So like it was one person that got into Hall H fair and square and another person that got into Hall H fair and square. But some people that were in the back wanted to get up to the front and were offering hundreds and hundreds of dollars for
Wow.
that privilege. I thought Hall H was awesome. I don't think it was that awesome. Okay,
It's weird. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Why would you pay hundreds of dollars unless you just have hundreds of dollars to throw away?
Well, some people in this world do, I guess. So let's do the quick rundown. We had the Warner Brothers panel. So they started with, and I think that alone was an hour and a half to 2 hours. So they started with showing us a little bit of Ready Player One, which I'm super psyched about.
Looks pretty cool.
The author of the book, Ernest Cline, and Steven Spielberg came out to talk a little bit about what's coming up in the movie. They showed us a little trailer, but the trailer was out. Like, they make a big deal about not recording stuff shown in Hall H, and I think some of those things truly were exclusive, but this preview wasn't. They released it like 2 hours later, so whatever. You're not allowed to record video of the stuff they show on the screen. You are allowed to record the rest of the audio, which I was going to do, but someone stole my shit, motherfucker. So we saw that. We saw a little preview of Blade Runner, which was cool. I didn't really love the original movie so much, but who knows? I mean, this one could be pretty fun. And then the big one was Justice League. So they brought out Aquaman first, Jason Momoa.
Yeah, that was a little crazy.
From Game of Thrones. He ran in like a pro wrestler. There was rock music blaring, and he had a trident in his hands, and he bursts out and runs up on stage for all the way from the back of 7,000 people. And then just hangs out with Chris Hardwick for a while. They showed us a little Aquaman clip that didn't show you a lot, but it did show you some cool effects of like some of the underwater, like an underwater fleet of I think badness. I think it was a bad guy fleet.
Okay.
But then the rest of the Justice League came out, and they showed us a little trailer from Justice League. It looks amazing. Everybody was there. Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, like the whole crew.
Did she have an accent?
Yeah, she talks just like Wonder Woman. I don't think she was putting on anything special for Wonder Woman. I think it's basically the same accent. She's from Israel.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ben Affleck has been rumored now for a while that he's stepping away from the Batman stuff.
Really?
Yeah. He was supposed to direct and star in The Batman, which is the next movie coming out.
Yes.
Or one of the next movies coming out in the Justice League stuff. But then he's not directing it anymore. Don't really have a clear picture exactly what happened.
Uh-oh.
But he's not directing it, but he's supposed to be starring in it. But then rumors started that he might not even be starring in it. But then he came out on stage at Hall H and he was talking up how amazing it is to be Batman. He didn't say
I'm going
the
to be the
rumors are
next
false.
Batman. Right.
Well, he didn't say...
Did people ask?
Well, he already is the next Batman. He didn't say... No one asked him exactly. But he just tried to sort of get in front of it. But he never said definitively... The rumors are stupid. Of course I'm going to be a Batman. But it was kind of like, well, you shouldn't always believe what you hear in the press, and being Batman is the most amazing job ever. Which got the crowd cheering, but it was sort of a soft answer. So who knows? He could still be stepping away, but he's trying to be a good press person for Comic-Con. Who knows? So there was that. We saw a Stranger Things panel. That was pretty neat. I wish you would have been there for that. I think you would have liked that one a lot. The kids are adorable and funny.
Aww.
And it was hosted by Patton Oswalt, who I am a huge
Right.
fan of in and of itself.
He was also there for the MST3K. Whatever they were doing.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Let's talk about off-site events in a sec. Well, then there was Westworld, right?
Who hosted that one?
A comedian. I can't remember his name right now, but for the Stranger Things panel for Westworld, there's a lot of stuff up on our blog with
Right.
some pictures and some write-ups. In the case of the ones with the biggest galleries, I tried to add comments to the pictures of like, here's what was going on. And I was live tweeting like crazy. So I know I missed some stuff, especially what people looked like when they were talking. But our friend, she gave us a lot of awesome pictures. She's credited on our blog for doing so.
Yes,
And I
they're
hope she
very
comes,
professional looking.
now that she's on board, I hope she comes with us to more conventions in the future because she takes way better pictures than I will ever take
She
in
has
my
a
life.
nice big
It's
camera.
a real camera. And there was Charlize Theron. Don't want to talk about that right now.
Okay.
But she plugged Atomic Blonde, which I want to talk about, but not this second. And then Marvel. So you made it for that.
I made it for Marvel.
All right. What did you think of Marvel?
It was good. I mean, it wasn't bad.
They did it in two parts.
They did it in 2 parts. So first was Black Panther, wasn't it?
I think Thor was first. Although before that, they had this. Now, this was exclusive video as far as
Oh,
I
I
can
love
tell.
this.
An introduction to the Marvel Universe.
Yes. If we can, I hope they release it someday.
I hope so. They gotta.
So
It
they
was
had
too good.
Ant-Man and what's the guy's name that does the Wasp? Is he going to do the Wasp?
No, he's not
No.
the Wasp.
Okay, I don't
He's
know.
just his best friend. I don't remember his name.
Comedian guy.
And it wasn't immediately apparent if they were in character or not because they were given a rundown.
Right.
and
I thought they were just being actors, introducing the Marvel
right.
universe to us.
It sort of seemed that way. It was kind of hard to tell, but it was funny. Just a whole breakdown from everything that happened from Iron Man 1 all the way to now. Very funny, but then it also led to a big reveal because at the end of it, it turns out that they were in character and they were giving this recap to a person that needed it, and that person,
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer, playing Janet Van Dyne, aka the Wasp. Hank
Oh,
Pym-
she's the Wasp. Duh.
She's the Wasp. Yeah. She was the original the Wasp.
Oh.
Yeah.
She was?
Well, she was Hank Pym's wife. But then she got lost, in the movie.
She was?
We heard about that in Ant-Man, like she shrank herself down too small.
Yes.
And she saved the day from a missile or whatever it was. But she never,
So she's
she never got
back.
back. Well, it looks like she will get back. We don't know how. But it's Michelle Pfeiffer, so that's cool. Maybe she won't get back. Maybe it'll only be in flashbacks. Because
Maybe.
now we have the new Ant-Man, Paul Rudd's character, and we have
The daughter of...
right, Hank Pym's
The
daughter.
Wasp.
Can't remember her name right now. But she's going to be the Wasp. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I think we should see if anybody's leaked it or anything yet because it was hilarious.
Last I saw, they hadn't, but you never know. It would be worth searching again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny.
And then Thor.
And Thor came out. He's as handsome as...
You saw him up close, didn't you?
Yes, I did. He's as handsome in person as he is on... He looks exactly like he does on television.
I bet you wish he was doing this podcast with you right now. You're not saying no. Fuck you, lady.
I'm just picturing him over there. Anyway.
Yep. So what intrigues me the most about Thor is the director. What's his name? He's from New Zealand, and he is one of the guys, well, I think he directed, but is one of the guys from What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes. That was so strange. How strange for him to have directed Ragnarok.
Well, Marvel's always taken a humorous, add a lot more humor to their movies than, I guess,
I had no idea.
let's say, than DC or than most superhero movies before. His name is Taika Waititi.
Yes. I had no idea he was a director.
I think I had heard that, but I hadn't connected exactly what that meant. But as soon as I saw him on stage, I was like, oh my God, it's the vampire from What We Do in the Shadows.
And he was hilarious the entire panel. He was hilarious.
Yeah, and he has a character in the movie too that we saw a clip of that was not part of the trailer, but it's a funny clip involving him playing this big Polynesian sounding rock monster that's actually very gentle, but
Oh, yes.
has to fight in this arena. So we learned a lot of the story. We saw a trailer that was a little more exclusive, I guess. It doesn't have all the same stuff that was released in the trailer later. So we got to see more of Jeff Goldblum, who plays another one of these immortal,
was there.
What are they called? Ancients? No.
Collectors.
Well, the Collector was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's the Collector's brother.
He's the Collector's brother.
Right. Elder? No.
We figured out what he was called. But
Is he the same thing kind of guy as Eon? No. Ego?
Oh, Ego? Yeah. Yeah, they're all kind of from that same thing. They're these ancient immortal beings that have been around
They're
since
like
the beginning
Doctor
of time.
Who.
A little bit, yeah.
They're going to meet Doctor Who someday.
Except, can they be killed? I'm not sure if Ego was actually really killed in Guardians 2. He might have been. I'm not sure. I don't know everything about those guys. I don't even remember what they're called right now. But we did get to see more of him, and he looks like he's going to be funny. So we got to see good stuff. I really enjoyed it. I think it's going to be a fun movie. We're definitely going to go see it.
Yeah, the panel, they were all very fun.
And then we got to see Black Panther panel.
Yes.
What do you think of that one?
It looks like it's going to be good.
What I know of comic books is pretty much based on what I know from movies I've seen. So I know almost nothing about Black Panther. I know almost nothing about all of these characters. But I know almost nothing about Black Panther and his universe because there's never been a movie like it before. Mm-hmm. You know?
Well, I think what's great is that this is the very first, as far as I know, superhero African American on with his own
taking
movie.
top billing, yeah.
Right, top billing the whole panel.
Well, I mean, unless you want to
There might have been one white person, I don't know.
If you want to go back to the mid to late 90s, I think it must have been the late 90s, and there was a movie called Steel, which was a branch off from the Superman comics starring Shaquille O'Neal.
No way.
Yeah. When Superman died, and this is one of the few things I ever read in the comic book world because my roommate was getting Superman every week or whatever. So when Superman died, 4 different people tried to take up the mantle of Superman. And one of them was just a guy, but he was like a really good blacksmith or something. So he made this steel suit and carried a hammer around.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was Shaquille O'Neal.
In the movie, it was Shaquille O'Neal.
Wow.
So we can't say the Black Panther's totally breaking new ground here.
Okay.
But
anyway, they were all very, very proud and
yeah, as they
very
should be.
excited. Yes, they should.
And it's almost an entirely black movie, but not quite. We do have one villain.
He was the white guy?
Ulysses Claw.
I don't remember.
He's the Gollum guy. Andy Serkis, who, by the way, if we had slept overnight for the Hall H line on Saturday, we would have met him.
I probably would not have recognized him.
Doesn't matter. Someone would have explained it to you.
Yeah, I know.
I would have explained it to you. So maybe
You'd be like, hey, that's Andy Serkis. Who?
Maybe next year we should sleep outside so we can meet someone cool. Maybe they'll give us a soundbite if we're prepared.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see if we've recovered enough by then.
We'll see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's the bad guy. They showed a clip of the movie involving Andy Serkis. There was some kind of shakedown going on, and Black Panther and a couple of his cohorts were there to lay the smackdown on Ulysses
Thwart
Claw's
him.
guys. Yeah,
Yes.
it looked pretty intense.
It looks really good.
We're gonna have some awesome action.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I really don't know anything about what the plot is.
Well, it has something to do with Uganda.
Wakanda.
I get that wrong
It's
every
a
time.
fictional country in Africa.
With Wakanda's technology trade or something, and
well, yeah, they are the lone source in the world of vibranium, which is this super indestructible metal.
Which is what Black Panther's suit is made out of, or coated with, or something.
Yeah, it's like woven into the fibers. But it's with Captain America's shield, and the reason we've seen Ulysses Claw before was in Avengers Age of Ultron. Ultron stole a bunch of vibranium from Claw to make himself an indestructible body.
Okay.
He was like the super Ultron.
Well, that's going to be coming out in...
Oh, God, I don't know. I think Black Panther's not till next year. I think February. I think it comes out February, I want to say 16th, but it's like Valentine's Day weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got Thor a long time before that. And then we also saw a little clip of Avengers Infinity War. Whew.
Yeah.
I tried, because I couldn't have the iPad on while they were showing. But
Right, we're not allowed to record.
I'm taking mental notes, and I'm like repeating things back to myself, but there's so much happening.
Oh, no.
I couldn't tweet very much.
Well, what do you remember?
When the lights came back on. Well, I remember how it started, which was Thor apparently floating through space without a spacesuit on and smashing into the Guardians of the Galaxy's window on their ship. So they bring him on board, and I guess that's how part of the plot starts. So maybe Thor Ragnarok is going to end with Thor floating through space. Maybe. Or maybe something else happened in the interim. Who knows? We have no idea.
Okay.
But we did see, what's his name? The bad guy, Thanos. So we saw Thanos, and Thanos was actually moving.
He looks pretty good.
He's never done that before, really. Like, he got out of his chair once.
He's always been sitting in his chair.
Yeah, he sits in his chair
sitting
a lot.
there.
Right.
He's walking around now.
At the end of one movie, we saw him pick up a gauntlet and grab it. So he must have gotten out of his chair to do that. And that's going to be the Infinity Gauntlet.
Maybe that's what gives him the power to walk.
And I guess in the end, I mean, he's trying to get all the Infinity Stones, which have been a common thread through these many movies.
To make a lovely glove.
It makes a lovely glove, and at that point controls the power of the universe, I guess, because he was doing shit like we saw.
I have the power.
Who knows how they edited this, really? But what we saw appeared to be Iron Man battered and bleeding on the ground, like looking like he's about ready to die anyway. And Thanos reaches up with the Infinity Gauntlet and starts pulling meteors out of space that are flying towards Iron Man and whoever else he's with. We saw Spider-Man in the cool suit that he was in at the end of Homecoming.
Yes.
And we saw, like, everybody. I mean, everybody's going to be in this movie. It's all coming together.
Should we talk about Iron Man and Penelope?
Pepper Potts?
Pepper Potts.
Well, she was at
I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Of Spider-Man Homecoming?
Was she in the end of that? Gosh,
Yeah,
now I'm like, everything's becoming one.
We don't know if she's in Infinity War. She wasn't in the preview. But yeah, you're thinking of at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming.
Right, and the only reason I mentioned that is because I think Iron Man, he's not going to be in any more movies because...
I don't think so. And someone else was telling me that they thought...
He's going to retire.
I don't know. Maybe I heard it on another podcast. I don't know. But I heard a good theory that Captain America is probably not going to make it out of this one alive.
Captain America! He always has to live.
He doesn't have to.
He's Captain America.
He is Captain America. There was a good reason behind it. I can't remember what that was, but I think that we're going to see most of these guys die. The biggest ones, the biggest names, the ones from the very first channel, like through the first Avengers movie. I think they're either all going to die or they're going to like be really injured badly and then retire. I mean, I think Hawkeye, he barely made it out of Avengers Age of Ultron.
He can't die. He has a family.
Well, maybe he just won't go. Maybe he won't go on the mission. Maybe
his wife's going to make him stay home.
I hope so. Captain America, Iron Man, I think they're both out. I think they're going to pass the torch. Thor, they could very easily pass the torch.
To who?
A girl.
What girl?
There was recently a Thor... Well, I don't know what girl, but there was recently a girl Thor in the comic books. I know that. And there's currently a girl Iron Man.
Fuck yeah.
Girl...
Women are taking over the world.
Captain America, I don't know. Maybe they give Captain America a rest for a while.
I love it.
I have no idea. I think Spider-Man will live because they just started that
Captain
franchise.
America girl's coming.
Captain America girl?
Yeah.
You thinking of Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Well, that's different. That's a different character.
Well,
there is a Captain Marvel.
It's his counterpart, right?
I don't know.
I think
she's a separate person from Captain America.
I know she's a separate person, but I think she's his counterpart.
Okay. Well, she's coming. I think she'll be in this movie. I think she'll get introduced in this movie. But I just think that whole first run of characters, I think they're going to be gone from this point forward, and then the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to start their next phase. I mean, I think this is phase 3 or 4 anyway, in terms of how they've structured their plot line. But I think when we get to the phase after that, it's going to be the new guard. And, the newest characters, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, I think they're all going to get through this fine because they have more movies to make. But Iron Man's already on. He's had 3 movies. Plus, he's been in a few of the other movies, not even counting the Avengers. I mean, he was just in Spider-Man too. And as we see him moving forward with Pepper Potts and actually settling down and getting married, I think he's either going to retire or die. I'm kind of expecting death, given all the stuff that he's seen and done and sacrificed himself for.
He can't marry somebody. He's not the marrying type.
Oh, right. So maybe that just means he's going to die because he can't marry anyone. Or maybe it means he will, but that's the end of who Tony Stark is, and he just won't want to fight anymore. And he'll pass that torch one way or another.
Right. Well, he's got all of his suits, he can fly them remotely. People can fly them remotely.
I can't wait for it, but it's not till I think the end of next year. Late next year, I think, is Infinity War Part 1, and it's going to be 2 movies. It's driving me crazy. Too much stuff.
There's just a lot coming out, so you'll be happy.
I mean, from the Justice League side, we got Justice League. Aquaman's getting his own movie for sure. The Batman movie is in the works. There's a Wonder Woman 2 that they're already planning out.
Spider-Man.
I don't know if Flash and Cyborg are getting their own movie. Spider-Man's on the Marvel side, and they're already planning out movie number 2 there. Your son was talking excitedly about how there's going to be a Spider-Man Homecoming 2, and I said, well, I don't think they're going to call it Homecoming. And he said, no, but yeah, we really do. All these superhero movies. It's hard to see other stuff anymore. So that was Saturday. And when we finally got out of all of that Hall H stuff, we got some dinner and then we collapsed, I think.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any big plans for Sunday, so we slept a little bit. Then we did some shopping for the kids. Oh, so if you're in Hall H for the right panels, not all the panels, not by any means, but I think 3 times. So once on Friday for Game of Thrones, and then we at the Westworld panel, and then at the Marvel panel, they gave out these little tickets. You had to walk a fucking long way, again, off the convention hall.
Two hotels away.
Yeah.
2 streets away or something.
It's a long, hot walk, but there is a redemption room set up at a different hotel, the Hyatt, I think. And you can take these little tickets that they give you there, keep them safe, and then they give you some Hall H exclusive loot bag stuff.
Right.
So Game of Thrones and Westworld each gave us a tote bag. In the Westworld one was a very poorly handled poster, and that's really about it.
That's all that was in it, yeah.
But the bag's nice.
It seems like they forgot something.
They don't have as big of a budget as Game of Thrones. So on the Game of Thrones side, they gave us a nicer swag bag. It had a t-shirt.
A water bottle.
A nice metal. Yeah, I thought it was plastic at first, but it's actually metal.
Metal.
Like an aluminum water
metal.
bottle. And this cool ice, like a little 2-cube ice cube tray that lets you make ice cubes in the shape of the Night's King.
Or candy.
King's head. Or candy. I made candy for a coworker. So that was neat. Oh, and for Marvel, we got a couple posters each.
We got nice posters.
A really nice Thor poster and a really nice Black Panther poster.
Yes. We're going to frame them.
Kids want them in their rooms, so yeah, we're going to put some frames on those. So that was part of Sunday, and then, and Mr. Robot. You don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we watched like a little bit of Mr. Robot, a couple episodes. You weren't digging it. I was kind of digging it, but I wasn't super enthusiastic, so we just wound up skipping that for now. Maybe we'll come back to it someday.
Is that with Arya?
No. Oh. No, you're thinking of iBoy.
Oh, yeah.
The movie about a boy with an iPhone in his head. Grafted into his skull. No, Mr. Robot was the one about the hacker, and he was like really socially awkward, but he had amazing abs somehow, and then, remember this?
No.
He did some drugs and had sex with a lady, and then he went back to hacking later. This was just within the first episode or 2. Anyway, very popular show about this hacker. He's like a Robin Hood kind of hacker, like he's trying to do some good, right? But there's an evil organization. I think it's...
E-Corp.
Right.
No, it just sounds evil.
You joined me. So we had to make these little E-Corp accounts, so now they know who we are. But upon doing so, we got awarded with some free E-Coin.
That was cool.
Which I couldn't imagine was actually going to be a legit thing, but it totally was, and it was fucking awesome.
And very expensive for them to have that kind of promotion.
Very, very expensive. And
I don't think they know what they were getting into.
Big shout out to our new con buddy, Amanda, for turning us on to that.
Yay, Amanda.
She wanted the cupcake, which we got, but we also got so much more.
Yes, we got everything.
Yeah. So we followed...
In one fell swoop.
Yeah, so we were like, well, we're kind of hungry. Let's go see what we can get with this E-Coin. It was Sunday afternoon. We managed to get...
So you had to walk to different places downtown San Diego.
Right. The gas lamp district, right? Right, which is right across the street from the convention hall.
Several blocks.
It's not a long walk, but yeah, through these several blocks, we managed to get a pulled pork sandwich and a milkshake at one place.
A really good milkshake.
We got a big old slice of pizza at another place. We
Pretty
each got
good
a
pizza.
slice. And it was real pizza.
Where was it from? Do you remember the name?
Oh, I don't.
Rocco's.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I think it was Rocco's.
But it was like real pizza.
It was good, Italian.
And you could pick whatever you wanted,
pizza.
whatever they had out. They do like pizza by the slice, and it wasn't just cheese, and you had to pay for upgrades. Like it was just, here, have a slice of pizza.
We bought a soda.
We did buy sodas there because that seemed like a good idea. Plus, support them. I mean, they should be getting money from the E Corp, whatever, the Mr. Robot people. I'm sure they are, but you know. And then Ghirardelli gave us a free Sunday.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, well, let's go check out this free Sunday. I'm full.
I expected it would be
so
like a little thimble full of ice cream.
I mean, this was like right one after another. We ate a huge slice of pizza, a pulled pork sandwich, a chocolate shake, and now we're going for
and then immediately,
a little sundae.
Right.
We get to Ghirardelli and they hand us this giant cup.
I think it's like a 16-ounce plastic cup
of chocolate and vanilla and nuts.
Hot fudge.
It was so good.
Hot fudge sundae.
It was hot out and it was cold inside.
It was really nice inside the Ghirardelli place. I wanted to stay there forever. So well air conditioned. So yeah, we got the free sundae, which I couldn't even finish.
It was a $12 sundae.
Yeah. We got it for $5 that we didn't have to do anything to get except sign up.
It was free.
And then we got cupcakes, which we took to go because we were kind of
feeling a little sick.
Yeah. So we were going to save those for later. But that was awesome. And that pretty much rounded out our con.
I did have the best Thai food I had ever had.
Oh, yeah. Was that Saturday night?
At the Thai place.
Yeah, that was Saturday night after Hall H. We're going to treat you to some food because you deserved it.
Yeah.
You missed out on all the Hall H stuff. So yeah, we went to a Thai place. You had great Thai food in downtown San Diego. Don't remember the name of that place either, but you got it.
There you go.
So
if you want to know, we'll look it up.
The only other thing, I guess, is like, what didn't we see? We didn't see a lot of other panels, and we wanted to, including Dr. Janina Scarlett, our multi-time guest, and her husband, Dustin. They're married now. We wanted to go visit them. She was doing a couple panels and a book signing, and because of the line waiting, we didn't get to any of those. One of them, I had it scheduled out, like to go to her panel. It was like the psychology of cult TV. That should have been really interesting.
I wonder what it's like for her to get in. Like, how does she get in?
Well, I think if you are an approved panelist, I think you just get a pass. I mean,
you don't have to wait in line.
Not to get the pass, but if you wanted to go to Hall H, I'm sure you would have to, yeah. But you probably don't have time because you're a panelist and you're selling a book and all the other stuff. So we didn't get to visit people. We didn't get to see all the things that we had scheduled out because of some of the line waiting, but that was our choice. And then we also didn't get to do any of the off-site experiences. That was the other kind of big thing.
Right.
I mean, maybe the e-coin thing.
We even got invited to one and we didn't get to make it because we had to wait in line.
Was that the alien one?
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually in the exhibit hall.
Alien experience.
That was in the exhibit hall, but our exhibit hall schedule got messed up and it was, next thing you know, it was closed. The whole exhibit hall. But there are other ones. There was, you did go to Impractical Jokers, but there were some big ones for Westworld and Game of Thrones that I'm sure would have really enjoyed.
Midnight Texas.
Midnight Texas was like, the part of the downtown was just converted to Midnight Texas. And then there was some kind of experience in one of the buildings.
Right.
But we didn't go into that. We did sit next door to that building a couple times and eat fries.
Chowder fries. Oh my God.
French fries covered in cheese and then clam chowder, as if the cheese wasn't enough. It was
so good.
We got to go back to San Diego just for that.
We can make that at home.
What are we going to use? Campbell's clam chowder? Fuck that.
I'll make homemade clam chowder.
No, I'd rather.
We'll go get some good clam chowder.
We should just go to San Diego.
And a side order of fries, and we'll just dump it on.
We'll go to San Diego, and we'll ask at some Lost and Founds one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we didn't get to see those things, but those were more of really long lines. People were sleeping overnight just to get into the Game of Thrones or Westworld experiences, and it sounds like they weren't super long lines because they were super slow moving. The Westworld one, I guess, once you got inside was like 15 minutes of an experience involving VR goggles and stuff. And they probably had a few going at a time, but not a ton. So the line would move and then you'd be stuck for 15 minutes waiting for the first, the group to be done. So again, it's just like the heat more than anything dissuades me from some of that. But I don't know, the Hall H stuff was fun. I might want to do that one more time next year if we go, because that's going to be leading into the final season of Game of Thrones too. So I think like that's a panel you got to be at. Plus I would like to actually take another shot at recording them, but we'll see. Or maybe we could take turns. Maybe one of us, we don't always, if we're just sitting in a room listening
one
to
of us
people,
could go walk around.
one of us could do something else and one of us could do
If we
Hall
have
H and
friends
then
there.
switch days, vice versa.
Sure.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But
Okay.
but yeah. So the offsite experiences though, another thing to expect, that if you want to see those, there's going to be some more lines. There were a lot of other panels. There were a lot of things that sounded fun.
Hundreds probably.
Yeah. Well, there were certain things that we were looking for. Like there was one where some celebrities of whatever ilk, I don't know how high ranking, but they were going to play Cards Against Humanity in a room.
Oh, I would have loved to have seen that.
You knew about it.
I know.
You sound so surprised now. There was one where I think Kevin Smith was going to do something involving like a trivia game.
Oh, he was on the IMDb boat right in front of us.
And he was on the IMDb boat.
Same time that we were waiting in line. He was like 100 yards away from us.
A stone's throw away. But
Yeah.
even
And
if
somebody from, I think it was his boat.
no.
No.
I know what
won't
you're
say
about
it.
to say. No. So there was those French girls, and they were cute, I guess, but
They were all right.
they were all right. Maybe the French allure.
They looked like a girl next door. They
They
were
looked
really,
like they'd been sleeping outside. It's not like they were glamorous. They weren't wearing
no, they just were normal
evening dresses.
normal. They weren't like all hottened up.
Right. They weren't wearing hot pants.
Their
They
boobs weren't
wearing
sticking
Their
out.
boobs were not hanging out. But this guy comes up to them at one point and asks them if they smoke weed.
Do you smoke weed?
And they're trying to figure out,
They're like, what?
this is, I mean, it's right off the bat. It's
Me?
creepy.
And they say no.
But he tries to get them to come with him onto his boat.
Do you want to come on my boat?
A marijuana boat. And it's specifically about medicinal marijuana. But they're from France, so they didn't have California medical marijuana cards.
Oh, like that matters.
I don't know. Well,
On the boat of weed.
Obviously, it didn't matter, but I mean, now weed's legal in California anyway.
On a boat. You can smoke weed on a.
It's nautical rules.
Yes.
I mean, they're docked at San Diego, though. That was a strange one. Like we just.
I feared that they would never return if they went with that.
We would have stopped them, right? I think anyone in that group would have stopped.
Well, yeah, all of us were like, do not go with them.
Do not go with that weird dude. That dude's eyes are really bloodshot. He's not in his right mind right now. So there was that. I mean, it was a great time. It was exhausting, though.
It was exhausting. It is not a place for kids. Only because that's all. It's exhausting and they won't have fun.
Well, you can't do.
There's nothing
Hall
for
H
kids
stuff.
there.
No, that's not true. Well, no, I mean, look, the exhibit hall, kids would love seeing some of the stuff that was there.
But are you going to really pay that much money for the kids to go in and shop?
Well, some people probably do. People definitely bring kids there. I'm not sure what
Not a ton of
they
kids.
do, because I mean, even like the Cartoon Network stuff wasn't Cartoon Network; it was Adult Swim with like Rick and Morty and all sorts of
they
other
would get
things that weren't
lost.
appropriate. You'd probably lose a kid or two.
In a sea of people.
We have 5 kids between us. If we went to Comic-Con with all 7, we'd probably come back with 5. I think we should just assume that going in.
People? Huh? Maybe it would be me and you missing.
Well, who's driving them home?
I don't know. Maybe they ride a bus.
The girls are almost old enough.
Give them bus tickets. We'll be like that song. They drive off into the sunset together and leave the kids behind.
I don't know what song that is.
No.
Sounds like the start of a horror movie, or like Hansel and Gretel, maybe. Anyway, it's not that it isn't kid-friendly, I guess. I mean, in some aspects it is, but you're probably right in that in terms of anything that's not the exhibit hall is either going to be like autograph signings, which is cool, but lines, or some of the panels. Not all the panels have big lines.
And you have to pay.
You have to pay for what?
Autographs.
Well, you do have to pay for autographs, yes.
Not like you're going to get up there and they're going to be all, yeah, how you doing, big fan? Sure, I'll autograph your boobs or whatever. No, you got to pay them like $20 or whatever.
Sometimes more than that. You do have to pay for autographs, but we've seen that before. If it's someone you really love, you might pay just to get that photo op or
I just want everybody to be aware. If they decided to go to Comic-Con, this is what they face.
I think that's pretty
I would have
well
never known that, ever.
Well, fine. You don't run in the same nerd circles.
I don't.
Now I knew that was
Now I do.
Yes, you do. And I love you.
I'm telling the people like me out there that had never experienced this type of thing.
You do have to pay for autographs. There are plenty of panels that aren't super long lines that are probably more about comic books or, the less famous in front of camera parts of entertainment. And those, but the question is, would kids enjoy those? And I guess it really depends on the kid. If you can find stuff like, if you could find a panel for your son that's only about Batman or Spider-Man, then he'd be super excited to be at that. But that's,
Right, but they're never geared towards children.
I will admit that Comic-Con is probably better for late teenager nerds all the way through adults like us. That's probably
Teenage nerds would enjoy.
Yeah. Unless they hate crowds or something like my daughter does, who's really into nerdy stuff but does not want to be in a convention environment. So whatever.
There's a lot of people.
But we had fun, and I think, provided Comic-Con invites us back, we'll go back again for more, and let's just say probably better press coverage. Not the same, but we'll
better
get more
planned, better.
But no one's going to steal our shit this time.
We'll put it on a lot. We'll lock that shit down.
I'm going to find an apparatus where I can strap this digital recorder to my arm or something.
Oh, this is going to be attractive.
I'll just pretend like it's a Pip-Boy from Fallout or something.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Thank you.
We can make one.
So next year, let's assume no one's going to steal our shit. We'll come out of Comic-Con with more audio that will be quicker and easier to post than some of the write-ups I did on podofthrones.com. But the stuff that's there, I stand by it. I think we did get some good coverage out of Hall H. We got a couple good interviews, and we lost some other good interviews, which is a bummer. But, life moves on. So we will probably go to Stanley's Comic-Con this year, like we did last year.
We're going to apply.
Yeah. It's
It's
another kid-free weekend, so... we could go check it out if they let us come as press.
Yes.
And then maybe WonderCon, we'll see. In April, I think. But I think we'll definitely be back at San Diego Comic-Con next year, and we'll either be more prepared for what we did this year, or we'll do different stuff next year. Hard to say for sure.
Okay, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, we're really we're going to do this, or we're going to do this.
I'm just saying we'll be back. That's all. The point is we'll go back. I mean, I think it was, with the exception of the theft, I think it was a very good time. Exhausting, but a good time.
Yes.
Yeah. So there we have it. All right, babe. We did our Comic-Con wrap up. We're putting
it all behind us.
We're done with this. We're done with this con now.
Okay.
Yeah. So there we have it.
We made it.
So tune back soon, because we did go see Atomic Blonde. Mm-hmm. We didn't talk about the Charlize Theron panel that I was in and you weren't. But we did go see that movie because of that panel. So we're going to talk about that next. So until then, I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
Excelsior! That's what Stan Lee says when he signs off his stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Excelsior! That's his thing.
Why does he say that?
Because he's awesome.